James Degale was recently talking to the World Boxing Super Series. It says here in this article, at least, and he's talking about the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. So it appears as though this fight is a go. It hasn't been officially signed as far as I'm aware, but it is heading in that direction. At the end of the year, James Degale versus Chris Eubank Jr. This is a crossroads fight, and it's a fight that I want to see. It's a fight that I think will be very entertaining, both in the build-up and in the ring. Now, as far as what James Degale said, he says, domestically, it's a massive fight. I believe that our styles will gel, and with a lot on the line, it will make a great fight. Eubank relies on his engine and his work rate to get him through, but he struggles every time he steps up in competition. He's been calling me out since he was an amateur, so I will finally be getting a chance to use my skills and experience to outclass him and shut him up. So those are the words of James Degale with regards to Eubank Jr. And he goes on to talk about the Uzcats guy, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that guy's name. I'm butchering it, but that's the best I can do. But with regards to Uzcats guy, who was his mandatory, he says, to be brutally honest, Uzcats guy was a high-risk fight for low reward. The purse would have been significantly lower than I have been earning. I defended the title 3 times, and there are better options available with bigger reward. Hopefully, I will get the opportunity to box for another world title shot in the near future. So those are the words of James Degale. Being honest, high risk and low reward. He felt like there was a decent chance he could lose to Uzcatigi. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm going to say Uzcatigi, however you pronounce it. He clearly felt there was a good chance he was going to lose to that guy. And so the money he would have gotten for it wasn't worth taking such a huge risk. Whereas he can take what he perceives to be a similar risk or a lesser risk, perhaps against Eubank Jr. for a hell of a lot more money. So that's why he gave up his belt. And James Degale's not a coward. Anybody saying James Degale's a coward, you're a fool. The guy's not a coward. He's never been a coward. This is the first time he's ducked a fight. Yeah, he did duck Uzcatigi. Did duck him. But is it because he's afraid of him? No. What he wants to do at this point in his career is make the most out of what market value he has left. Have some more big paydays and then retire from the sport. That's what James Degale wants to do. If you look at his career throughout, he's been brave. He wanted to fight. He was calling out Carl Froch for years. He went over to America. Remember, he was one of the Brits who was going over to America before a lot of Brits were doing that, other than Khan. Degale was out there. Degale fought George Groves. He fought Badu Jack. He wanted a rematch with Jack, even though Jack gave him that work. Knocked his tooth out. And Degale still wanted a rematch. In the ring after the fight, he was like, let's do the rematch. So Degale's not a coward. Never been a... You can say a lot about Degale. You can say he's arrogant. You can say he's deluded. You can say he's overrated as a fighter. You can say whatever you want to say. But saying the guy's a coward, that's foolishness. James Degale is a fighting man with a big heart. Always been like that. But at this point in his career, he's ducking. He ducked his mandatory. He vacated because he wants a big payday to end out the career. Maybe a couple big paydays if he can get them. And he knows that if he fought Uzcats guy, he could have lost that fight and the big paydays would have gone down the drain. So it's not about scared to get in the ring with a guy. It's about scared to lose paydays. At this point in his career when, he might not have many big paydays left. Anyway, that point has been labored. This fight between Degale and Eubank, how do you guys see it going? I would make Degale the favorite, to be honest with you. Unless Eubank Jr. can massively improve his footwork and his ability to step up to the plate, because I think he froze both times he stepped up against Billy Joe Saunders and against and against George Groves. I think Eubank Jr. froze both times. Will he freeze this time? Maybe not. Maybe third time's a charm, but I can't put any confidence in it. Perhaps he will. Perhaps he'll fight far better against Degale and not freeze. Hold his shape better. Not be so wild and ragged like a novice as he was against George Groves. But even still, will it be enough to beat James Degale, who is a good technical boxer, who can box slick, as we saw in the rematch against Truex? You know, a lot of people have seen the Truex fights and said, well, Eubank Jr. is better than Truex. He would destroy James Degale. Eubank Jr., I would pick him to beat Truex. All day, every day, twice on Sunday. But Truex does certain things better than Eubank. When Truex walks you down, his hands are held high. He doesn't swing wild punches. He's good at cutting off the ring. These are the things that Truex does better than Eubank Jr. I think Truex is a more effective pressure fighter than Eubank Jr. from a technical point of view. Eubank Jr. is much faster, much more dynamic than Truex, more athletically gifted, maybe even a bigger puncher. But from a technical point of view as a pressure fighter, I think Truex is better than Eubank Jr. The way he cuts the ring off, the way he waits till he gets in position, then he lets his shots go at a short range, not swinging them from the outside. So defensively, I think Eubank Jr. makes far more mistakes than Truex. I think there'll be far more for James Degale to capitalize on against Eubank Jr. than it was against Truex. You know, James Degale's never liked a guy being on top of him like that. Pause. Let me just say that. He's never liked a guy being all up in his grill, walking him down. You go back and look even in the early parts of James Degale's career when he was fighting guys with that kind of style. Hands held high who would walk him down and get close. Degale always feels uncomfortable against guys who box like that. Guys who know how to cut the ring off and have this solid pressure fighter construct. Eubank Jr. don't have that solid pressure fighter construct. He walks forward with his hands down. His footwork is all over the place. He's not good at cutting off the ring. Never has been. Eubank Jr. prefers fighters to come at him. That's when he really shines. That's when he looks like he's world class. When fighters come towards him and he can unload. Yeah. James Degale's not going to come to him like that. James Degale's going to box him and try to be slick and exploit Eubank Jr.'s technical deficiencies. That's what Degale's going to try to do. Same as Billy Joe Saunders did. Now, I'm not saying the fight's not going to be competitive, particularly if Eubank Jr. shows up this time. Finally, at the third time of asking, if he shows up mentally, I'm not saying the fight can't be competitive. But, and even though James Degale has seen better days and he's probably on the slide in a major way at this point, James Degale, I would still favor him to win. Because I can't trust Eubank Jr. to step up to the plate. I just can't trust it. It might happen. He might produce this time, but he hasn't on his two previous occasions stepping up, so I can't trust him to do it this third time. Anyway, let me know what you guys feel about this fight in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.